Good morning and welcome back to Questioning Sense with me, Matt. Hope you guys are well, all going swimmingly, yada, yada, yada. It's good here, quick weather update. Very nice spring day. Sun's out, there's a little bit of chill in the air. Perfect, beautiful day. I have the place to myself, so I'm going to dive into some reviews. And the first review we're going to film today is regarding this one, which is called Leather Oud, and it's from a company called Floris. Now, Floris, you may have heard of them. If you're in the UK, you certainly will have heard of them. They're the oldest of the English perfume retailers. I think they set up in 1730. A chap came over from Menorca, set up the business. I think like Trumpers and Penhaligons and, you know, this sort of traditional route for British perfume houses or English perfume houses. It started off as a barber's. And the legend is that they kind of missed the smells and aromas of the Mediterranean from Menorca. So the chap that set up Floris with his wife started creating scents, and the rest, they say, is history. Very austere and established business. I mean, I've been to the store in St James's and it's beautiful. They make a real fuss of you. It's a lovely place to be. So, you know, they've got a lot of perfumes in their collection, but the two that have kind of really interested me or grabbed my attention the most were released in 2014, and that was Honey Oud and Leather Oud. Now, I've tried them both on several occasions, but Leather Oud is the one that stole my heart. Now, it's had quite a dramatic effect on my collection since it arrived. So I'm going to talk about that and what's going to happen to my collection now. And I've had to do some thinking really and just try and understand things a little better. But before we get into that, we'll talk a bit about the perfume itself. Now, as I say, it came out in 2014 and it's an EDP. I'm wearing it today. Despite the fact it's actually quite a sunny day, I love the smell of this in all weathers, to be honest. I think I might struggle with it a bit when it gets really hot, but it's nice on a cool, crisp spring morning. So I'm going to spray a little bit more now, not too much, because as I say, I'm already wearing it. And although I do have the house to myself, people will be coming home at some point and I don't want them fogged out. So there we go, it's a beautiful perfume. So what we'll do, usual format, we'll go through the notes and we'll talk a little bit about the perfume, who can wear it, where it's good for, where it's going to shine, that kind of thing. Obviously I really like it, so it's going to be a very positive review, as you would expect, because I've bought it. And then we'll talk a bit about the pricing, where you get it from, and you know, how long it lasts and all that sort of stuff. And obviously how beautiful it smells, which is of course the most important thing. So what we'll do is we will get into it. Okay, so the notes are, on the top we have bergamot and we have leather, and then we have carnation, we have geranium, we have oud and patchouli in the middle, then on the base we have oud, we have vetiver, and we have a woody amber. Now, the perfume was inspired by the old days when all their oils that they made their perfumes from came in these little leather cases, and obviously the leather cases would smell a little of the oils, and that's where this perfume was born. But when you look at the top notes of bergamot and leather, you need to understand that there are some leather oudy fragrances on the market that are kind of very citrus-like, and then they get heavier. This is completely different. Don't be misled by the notes. You do not get a bright shining bergamot that takes you into the heavier notes. This kind of, the leather, the bergamot and the oud, everything of those heavier notes, especially the leather and the leather and the oud, seem to arrive at once, and the bergamot isn't a light and fresh one. It's almost like a condensed, crushed down, syrupy citrus that swims in with this oud and this leather. So you have a very heavy, dense opening, and it's rather stunning, in fact. Oh, it's so nice. There's almost a little hint of a medicinal vibe coming into it, but it's beautiful. Underneath that, you do have this carnation and geranium, and I don't really pick them up as individual notes. All I would say is there's a kind of a rich floral element to it. I can't say, oh yeah, look, there's geranium. I mean, I've just sprayed this now, and this has dried down, and it's, you know, I'm not getting a distinct floral. I'm getting a kind of a fanfare that supports a base, if you like. It's absolutely lovely, but you've got to like oud. And just a quick word on the oud. It does smell realistic. It's It's not barnyardy. There's no funk to it. There's nothing. There's maybe a little tiny hint of animalic, but I sometimes get that kind of thing with a realistic leather as well. So I don't know whether that's the oud that's, you know, giving this kind of slight animalistic vibe to it, or is it just, it's such an intense leather? I'm not entirely sure. But it just works so well. It's not a clean smell either. It's not like a fresh, clean, you know, floral leather at all. This is an intense, bordering on the animalic take on leather and oud. And just a little tiny bit of sweetness. The whole thing is very, it's almost cold. There's no real sweetness at all in the opening. But it's just magnificent. It's just a very smooth perfume. The leather is the colour that, you know, if you close your eyes and smell it, you're taking into a dark leather, and it's very much a new leather coat, or maybe even a slightly suede lined leather coat. And it's a soft, supple leather. It's not like a stiff, polished or, you know, overly starched leather. It's a soft, warm leather, but it's just, oh, it's utterly magnificent. Now, as it dries down, this is where it does get interesting, because there is vetiver here. I don't really pick up on it. I do pick up on some patchouli though, which I think kind of adds it to it. I mean, as we all know, I'm a big fan of patchouli, so I do kind of think that the patchouli adds something to it, but it does become a bit warmer. Now, this woody amber brings a little tiny bit of sweetness to the dry down, which is absolutely divine. It works so well. And I don't know, it's just, I can't say my wife loves it, but she can tolerate it on me, which is good. For an oud fragrance, that's very rare. So it's one that I can wear a lot, and it's one that, I mean, I haven't had it that long, and look at the dent I've put in it. And bearing in mind, this is a big hitter. It's not outrageous in its projection or anything like that. You don't fill up a room with it. You know, I've read people saying this is super strong, and I don't think it is. I think it's a very long-lasting perfume that sits above your skin. It's not a beast mode at all. It's a sophisticated, smooth, gorgeous, masculine blend. I think it's an amazing perfume. But the problem I've got is it does remind me a little bit of this one, which is the Oud from Mancera. They are kind of a little similar. If you took the rose out of this, you would kind of think, oh, they are a little similar. But this is the difference. This is so refined, this is so beautifully constructed, it means I really struggle with this one now. And I'm going to sell this. I just realised that having the two of these is completely ridiculous. This will have to go. And I mean that not in a bad way. This is not a bad perfume. This is a very good perfume. It's one that I thought was absolutely outstanding until I got this one. And the reason being, whereas the Mancera is very loud, it's very shrieky, it's very potent, and it kind of does really fill a room up to start off with, the Floris is the exact opposite of that. It's calmer, it's dignified, it's more mature, it's just, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. You know, I've been after a leather fragrance for a while. I've got La Yucawan, which I like. I might even get rid of that now, because I think they're both inferior to the Floris, and this is the problem. If I wear La Yucawan, or which doesn't actually smell like this, it's just a leather, or I wear this, I know I'm going to be thinking I should be wearing this, and I will feel that I'm kind of cheating myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this and just keep the Floris. So the Mancera will be up for sale, so I'll need to get rid of it. It's crazy, I know, and that got me thinking, that got the whole ball rolling. I looked at my collection and thought, I don't need half of these. So I'm going to start having a cull. I've been promising my wife I was going to do it for years, but I don't like getting rid of things. I'm a real hoarder. So I'm actually going to do it, and I'm going to start offloading some perfumes. So keep your eyes peeled, basically. I'm going to be selling quite a few, and just kind of reducing my collection to stuff that I absolutely love and want to wear all the time, and then if I can get down to like 30 perfumes that I just think are amazing, that I want to wear all the time, I will be better off, I think. Anyway, enough about my woes in the perfume world. So who can wear this? Well, it's beautiful, it's absolutely stunning. It is going to be one that You know, should I have put a suit on to do the review? No, it's a perfume. It's not a pair of shoes. You can wear what you like with it, but it will dress up incredibly well. It will be beautiful for formal events. It will be a very, very good one to wear to work if you work in a suit. For sure, if you're a professional person, you can wear this. Although it's not a screamer, it is very noticeable. It sits above your skin for hours and hours and hours. You'll easily get a long day out of this. And it will be noticeable on you as well. So you may need to be a little subtle with the trigger. You know, it's not beast mode. It doesn't screech. It doesn't fill the room up or anything like that. But, you know, it is noticeable. So, you know, it is a very, very wearable one. I love it casually. I mean, I tend to live in casual attire apart from when I'm at work anyway. And I've worn this no problem at all in casual clothes. I don't feel like I'm underdressed for it or anything like that, but it will dress up really, really well. I think it's a very masculine fragrance as well. But again, if you're a woman that likes a masculine fragrance, you're going to love this because of that leatheriness to it. It's just it's outstanding. It's a stunning, stunning frag. I think it will suit the more mature fragrance enthusiast. I don't think the thrusters will like it. Because that sort of almost medicinal, sharp, heavy opening may be a little bit too much for the younger fragrance enthusiast. Yeah, I don't know if the thrusters will like this one, but you know, they may do. I don't know. We'll find out, I suppose. Cost-wise, it's an expensive perfume. If you buy it from Floris, it costs £160 for 100ml, but it is readily available across a host of discounters, so you'll be able to pick it up for an awful lot less than that. In terms of what you're going to pay for it, you know, you can get some real bargains out there on it. So it's well worth exploring. It's an expensive it's an expensive, classy, beautifully constructed fragrance. What I will say is there is almost like a smoky element to this one as it dries down. It's not like got loads of birch tar or anything like that. It's more of a sort of a smoky vibe rather than a smoky note, if you know what I mean. So I think, you know, it suits it. It just adds a little bit to this kind of professional mystery that the perfume carries. It's an absolutely outstanding perfume. I think it's going to be so well worn by me. I'm already thinking I'm going to get through this really quickly. And, you know, I don't get through 100ml bottles ever, really, but I think I'm going to with this one. If this, I mean, we're coming into summer now, so hopefully, you know, I'll tend to wear some lighter, sweeter, you know, more kind of summery fragrances. But if we were coming into winter, I'll be very worried that I'm going to be wearing this every single day. And I really do rate it. I think it's an absolutely brilliant perfume. As always with big ones, you know, expensive ones, please don't blind buy it. Please sample it, because you know what I love, you may not, and I'd hate to be responsible for you guys buying something that's so expensive and absolutely hating it. That would be awful. But there you have it. You have this weird, almost medicinal start, which is lovely. Bergamot is like a condensed, oily bergamot that just gives a little bit of citrus or a syrupy citrusness to a very thick perfume. There are some florals in here. There's no rose. It's not a rose oud or anything like that. The carnation or the geranium do not tend to be substituted for rose in this. There's some floral elements that just make it a little bit lighter. And then you have a kind of a woody, slightly smoky, ambery dry down with some patchouli. It never really loses this oudy vibe, and it never really loses this leathery vibe, this wonderful, soft, dark leather. Beautiful perfume, fabulous stuff. If you can get a sample of it, I urge you to get a sample of it ASAP if you like these kind of fragrances, because I think it's absolutely divine. Anyway, listen guys, thank you ever so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Any questions, as always, hit me up on Instagram or leave them below the video and I will answer them as soon as I can. As always, thank you very much for your time. Cheers, thanks, and bye.